Hey, Miles Biggs, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing awesome. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's another week. I was sitting there behind the scenes fumbling with all these live connections because, I mean, man, we're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube now.
Yeah, taking
I'm
over
not.
the world, one stream at a time, right?
I don't. You know what? We need a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah,
Right away. So you work on that since you're the marketing guru.
sure. We'll put something together.
So, hey, everybody, Dave Cooper, Miles Biggs, Biggs Idea. Miles is a marketing genius. Has, what do you have? 2 podcasts now, is the digital director of marketing for Mojo Active, owner of Relish the Journey podcast, and Biggs Ideas. And you're a TEDx speaker, getting ready to be a TEDx speaker.
Yeah, as soon as quarantine's over and we can gather in groups again. It was supposed to be earlier in April, but didn't quite happen.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be great at it. And you also have a book coming out, right?
Yeah, so that I wrote this book based on the TEDx talk. And so I'm holding on to that. So the TED talk as well. The idea would be people see the talk, they like what I had to say, they want more. I can say, great, buy the book, right? Using this time to edit it again, double check everything. I'm going to probably build some sort of online course around the subject as well that I can launch after the book. So I'm just taking advantage of the extra time to take it up a notch.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. You know what? That'd be a great episode. Maybe we should talk about how to write your own book one of these times, since you've gone through it.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's plenty to talk about, especially when it gets into the ways you can publish it.
Right.
All that stuff in the background. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. All right, so we got a lot to cover today. We're going to talk about 7 successful ways to fill your content calendar all year long.
Yep.
Seven things to fill it all year long. How in the heck does something like that work, Miles?
It just multiplies, right? It's like the rabbits of content marketing. You got a couple of them in a room and they multiply. A lot of it is just using things you already have that maybe you're not thinking about how it could be used in a different channel or fueling your message, right? It's some people think of certain things as static elements of their website and don't think about how it can be repurposed a little bit to fuel social media and otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. Well, why don't we hop into it? We actually have a little bit of a slide deck today. This is part of a bigger presentation, but as we were talking earlier, I think this is just this is something that people can watch the show today, take the information, and start implementing it tomorrow, no matter what widget you sell or what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's put it up here. So, the successful 7, content designed to fill your editorial calendar for an entire year, mainly geared towards social media. All right. So what are the successful 7? Say thank you, our services, what we don't do, facts, FAQs, social proof, on location, and employee bios. And we're going to dive into each one of these. Miles, is this the easiest one that you could possibly ever do on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. It's being the social aspect of social media, right? Being the human behind the brand. And I like to think of this one as going deep and not wide, right? So a lot of people get so focused on, I need all these likes, all these followers, that they don't actually know the people behind that thumbs up on social media. It'd be like if you invited people over to your house for a cocktail party and just focused on filling every room in your house with a person, but then never got to talk to anyone, right? So saying thank you lets you actually build relationships, hear why people find value in your content or your business, get to know what they want, give them more of what they want then, and then they feel more of a personal connection to your brand and are likely to patronize you further or spread the word about you and do some marketing on your behalf. So it's very, very effective.
It's super effective. I go to the trade shows. You see me there. In fact, we've done this a few times where, I do video, you do podcasts, other people do written and blogs or what have you. But just to say, hey, I want to thank you for, your product's so great. Or an employee, thank your employee. One of the things that we've learned is, being very genuine with what you do and promoting others is a great way to promote and increase your influence, right? It really is, especially if you believe in what it is. And I think that's the most powerful thing. And I love going to IBS because I get to run around to all the products that we use and what we love, the International Builder Show, if you don't know what that is. And I have to tell you, we have so much fun out there. I know you do too, because I see you running everywhere with your mobile podcasting station.
Yeah, I think you created 81 videos this past year, right? In 3 days or something crazy.
Yeah, like it was nuts. And hour-long live feeds and everything else. So yeah, very, very much so. So first thing you could do, day number 1 on Monday, is you can just do a quick post saying thank you. You agree with that?
Yeah, definitely doing a post and saying thank you, but then taking it one step further, I think, and anybody that ever likes your post or comments on it, making sure that you're engaging with them in the content section, even if it's sending them a private message saying, hey, thanks for liking that post. I'd love to know more about what you liked or didn't like about it, and inviting that dialogue, having that one-on-one communication to say thank you, in addition to just a blanket post that you can put out there as a piece of content. Every comment that you make is also a piece of content.
Yep.
And you don't want to let those things go unanswered.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, the Successful 7, this is something that's a great thing to use. And this is only step number 1. All right, Miles, what do you think step number 2 is in the Successful 7?
I was gonna say, you told me already at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our services, right? Definitely, you always want to talk about what your services are, what you do, where you go, where you come from. I think this is a very powerful thing that people can use. Who you are, what you do, what you offer, and doing in a written form, podcast form, video form, any of those forms is a great thing.
Yeah, you really need to cut through the noise when it comes to social media or your website, anything online. People should be able to know within 5 seconds or less of coming to any one of your digital locations exactly what it is that you do and what they can expect from you. If not, you're going to lose their attention, and they're going to go interact with someone who is that upfront and direct. And it's
for sure.
Keep it simple, sometimes, and it doesn't need to be super fancy and have a bunch of buzzwords. Just be direct and say, this is what I do. Here are my services.
Right.
So examples with video or photos, past projects, and really showcase what it is you're able to do.
I agree 100%. So again, it's a simple way to fill your editorial calendar. Talk about what you do, whether it's in video or written format, put it up there, make a post of it. That is day number 2, Miles.
Yeah. And on that, one more thing, I think a big mistake I see a lot of people making when it comes to their services is the messaging is put in the context of, look at what I do. Look at how great I am. Look at all these awards I've won. Nobody cares, right? If you're a consumer, you're buying, you don't want to hear a company just talk about themselves. You want to know who can come alongside you in your journey for your story as the person making the purchase. And you want it to be about you. We're all selfish. So the brands that are most successful don't brag about themselves. They brag about their customers and how their services helped achieve a specific result for that customer, not necessarily how great the brand is, if that makes sense. Don't make it about yourself as much as possible, even though you're talking about your services. Talk about yourself through the lens of your customer and the wins you can bring the customer. Yeah,
100%. I listen, I'm just going to let you run the show. You're good. No, you're absolutely right. I love it. So, all right. What do you think number 3 is, Miles? I need big 3s to pop up on here, don't I?
Yeah, some animation. 3. What you don't do, I believe, was next, right?
Man, how do you remember that? What we don't do. Now, this is something that a lot of people, in fact, nobody really does this. But how powerful is it for people to understand exactly what it is you don't do, so the people that know what you do business with you, right? And it shows your honesty. This is what we don't do, right? And this could be as simple as, saying, hey, as a builder, we build houses and this is the type of homes that we build. What we don't build is, 15,000 square foot mega mansions. That's not our business, right? It's a very clear defining, sector. And when people come to look for you on your website, on your social media channels, to really clearly know who or what you do. But the other side of this could be as simple as, here's a job site that's a complete disaster. In a picture, it says, this is what we don't do. and another picture showing a clean, organized, safe place saying, this is what we do. And I think there's a lot of value and a lot of power in having a campaign such as that. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. If we talk about it through the lens of offsite construction, you see this often, right? There's the picture of that site-built house that's half done and it's raining, and this is what we don't do. And then there's the picture of the factory that's climate controlled, and this is what we do. So I think it's a good way to show confidence, right? Because I think some people trip up and think that since they're in business, there's that phrase, the customer is always right. Some people take that as I should just do anything and everything to get a customer.
Right.
But you become the jack of all trades and master of none. You're an expert at something, and that's what you do. It takes an extreme self-awareness as a person and as a company to admit what you're not great at, and a certain level of humility to then broadcast that out to the world. People identify with that. And I think you can take it one step further and say, here's what I do, here's what I don't do, but here's who does what I don't do, right? And then become a resource for that customer. If people are coming to you and they keep asking for something that you don't want to do, it's an opportunity for networking to sync up with a brand that you can maybe build a relationship with, and you guys could send each other leads if you complement each other. And it's a way just to show the customer that you care about them again, and it's not just all about you. You may not do it, but you can give them advice on someone else who does, so that they get what they're looking for at the end of the day, even if it's not with you.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, it has to be the same way in your world of marketing. I mean, there's certain things that are not in your wheelhouse. Is that accurate?
Yeah. There'll be times where somebody is really adamant about something, or they only want to spend a certain amount of money, and we just know for that amount we're not going to be able to deliver a quality product. So it's better just to walk away from that than to take it and then not do what is going to be the best representative of your brand.
Right. For sure. All right. Moving on, Miles. This is our speed round today.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. FAQs, Miles. FAQs. Every business has FAQs. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Everybody gets a similar amount of questions all the time. And this one reminds me of the story you've told where people walked into your home building business and said, hey, you're the guy on TV. And then they started selling you the product back, right?
Right.
A lot of that, I think, was because you put this to use. You were on job sites, showing them what was behind you, what was going on, talking about what it all meant. And even if you weren't asking a question, you were answering their question before they had a chance to ask it. And it results in a better educated home buyer. You can kind of shorten the sales process in some ways. If they already show up and got their questions, you move right to the I'm ready to buy stage, make money, and move on to the next one and get more sales done in a year.
That's exactly it. And you hit the nail on the head, since I'm in a construction industry. The bottom line is this: we all have the same 80% of questions that are out there. In my world, it's how much does it cost? How fast can I get it done? Those are all questions that you could put in a written form, a video form, which we choose to do, or a podcast form. And before you even meet with a customer, email it to them. And then when you have your meeting, you're 100 steps ahead of them. And you're right. It does happen to me all the time. I have people come in all the time. You've seen it in the keynote where they go, hey, you're the guy on video. My wife loved that white house with the white subway countertops and the white shingled siding, blah, 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 blah. They start selling you your product, right? That's branding. That's increasing your brand. And not only are you increasing your brand, you're getting other people to socially do it for you.
Right. Yeah, because you better believe that same person that loved that video didn't just tell her husband. She told her girlfriend. She told people she works with. She shared the video with someone. She put it on Pinterest.
Right.
There's all these ripple effects. And yeah, to your point, before you set up a meeting, you could say, hey, before we meet, here are some of the most common questions we get. Feel free to look over this, and hopefully it helps you. And I'm happy to talk about any of these questions when you show up. And then they show up, and they already feel like they know what they're talking about, because no customer wants to feel stupid. A lot of people may not want to ask the question because they don't want to seem like they're ignorant. So you take away that friction by just putting it out there and allowing them to consume it whenever works for them.
Yeah, 100%. And it's all about them consuming your content on their time.
Yeah.
That's how you start building relationships with them without ever meeting them. And that's powerful, powerful, powerful. All right, Miles, we are on social proof number 5 now. I say social proof. The success is 7. I just gave it away.
Social proof, right?
Social proof. Here it is. So social proof, Miles, and I like the full screen effect here. Social proof of people referring you, testimonials for you is the most powerful thing out there, especially if you can get it in a video format or an audio format. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're humans. We're pack animals, right? we're social beings. We like to follow the crowd in many respects. And so many people don't want to be the first person to have ever done something.
That's right.
They want to know that it's going to be okay before they jump. And so when they see a video of their neighbor gushing over how much they love this product or service, it makes it easier for them to say, okay, well, if Bob likes it, I'll probably like it too. Let me give this a call. Let me give this person a call. That's why there's reviews on all the products on Amazon. And, you call it a testimonial is the common phrase. To your point, though, about video is becoming more and more dominant on the internet, which by now, hopefully everyone knows. I think video takes it up a notch because I know I'm a little bit cynical. When I see a written testimonial on a website,
right?
Part of me goes, did they really say that? Or did they just type this out because it sounds good? That doesn't sound like what somebody would say. That sounds like that's marketing copy. But when you see it coming out of somebody's mouth, it's
right.
Real, it's authentic, and it means more.
Well, there's emotion behind it. You can see their actions. You can see their eyes. You can just feel it differently than reading it. How many times you get an email or a text message from somebody and you're like, what a jerk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but it wasn't really meant that way.
Right.
It was just, shorthand for I'm really busy. Sorry. And we take it the wrong way or whatever the case is. So video and audio, it does a whole lot for sure. Okay. What's next, Miles? How good's your memory?
I was just thinking about that too. I don't remember the last one. You got to hit me with it.
Oh, there's more than one more. On location.
Oh, 2 more. On location. Yeah.
On location. So, on location. Another thing that you can do day in and day out and post day in and day out is if no matter where you're at, you're in your office, you're on a job site, you're in the airport. Take a second and just post something. Take a picture. Write something nice about it. If you're in the office, take it. Like if I'm with Miles, I'm going to take a video of Miles and be like, hey, Miles, what's up, man? What are we doing? Having a good time. We're talking about XYZ. We're at whatever trade show is happening in the world. Hey, thanks, Miles, for promoting me on your podcast. Whatever the case is, I think that's what's important about on location. Use where you are for the content. You don't have to make it up. If you're just in the backyard doing something and your content's, you're just a vlogger, that's what they do. They just put the content, and there's always a way to spin something into having a connection to what you do in life.
Yeah. And so I think you could use on location or, behind the scenes, or just invite them in, really it doesn't have to be like you're physically separate from your office. It's just a peek into your world.
Right.
So I think this is why stories have really taken off on Instagram or Snapchat. There's the little documentary type. Here's what's going on. It's real. It's authentic. And people like that. They identify with that. It doesn't feel like they're being sold. It's just very real person-to-person connection, even though it's sent out to the masses. So definitely agree that it's great content. And in that way, we talk about how these 7 things fill a whole year. Think about every single week. There's got to be something, an interaction that happens, something you see on your factory floor or when you're talking with a customer. That would be those on-location moments that it could be a 30-second soundbite or video clip that people could connect with or would show them a little bit about the company that they don't necessarily get to see from your polished sales materials. That's the stuff you can put on social media very quickly, very efficiently, but also have a large impact from.
Yeah, very, 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 very true. Very true. And it's all about socially connecting without really meeting people. So I think that's
which we're
super
learning
important.
now how important that is, right? We're all forced into it.
Yeah, we are all forced into it.
it's like the original social distancing was on location stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You know, if you're just joining us, we are on with Miles Biggs Ideas, and we are talking about the 7 successful things that you can do for social media content. You getting that little clicking noise again?
I am. Yeah. Only
Where
when you're
did that
talking.
come from?
Don't know.
I didn't have that a half hour ago. Let me see. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Yeah. All right. Well, apologize for the sound thing. I'm not sure where that noise is coming from. Maybe there's a mouse in my computer or yours.
Maybe.
So,
but see, everyone, right? This is the behind the scenes moment where even on the live stream, there's
what's going on?
You roll with it.
You have to roll with it. So, next thing. This is an important one now. This is one where a lot of people don't do it, Miles. Employee bios. Whoop. Yep. Can you hear me?
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's humanizing your company. Employee bios, you know, putting that in your email, doing a quick little video. Hey, I'm Dave. I've been here for, you know, X amount of years. I love coding or whatever the case is. And, you know, I have 3 children and a wife and a picket fence, and I love to fish.
Right. The old saying is that people buy from people they like, right? And how can they know if they like you if they don't know your background and where you're coming from and what outside experience you're bringing into the workplace every day? So by whether it's a short video, a short write-up, a short audio clip, even letting somebody hear your voice. You know, I'm a huge fan of the audio messages on texts instead of typing. You can just speak into it. And again, to your example about people getting a text and it causing an argument you didn't mean there to be, right? It gives you those nonverbal cues. So it can be so powerful, and it doesn't take a lot of effort, but it can have a lot of impact.
It definitely doesn't take a lot of effort to have a lot of impact, and like I said, it could be 60-second little video blurbs. It doesn't have to be much of anything, and you could do it on your forward-facing clients. But I always say, hey, just start with yourself. Put it out there. People want to know who you are. That's why reality TV is such a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Miles, that is the successful 7. I was playing with my mute button there to see if it was me that causing this. I don't know. I don't know who the culprit is, but we're going to have to figure that one out. It's even driving me crazy. All right. So we are live on Facebook, and we have some comments going there, and we are live on LinkedIn. Let me pull these over here, take a look. If you guys have questions or comments, and YouTube, by the way, if you have questions or comments, please put them in the links or in the messages below. We're here to answer your questions, and we're here to figure out why there's a mouse inside of our computers. I'm not sure what's going on. I was just on an hour feed, not even 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour ago. So, okay, Ethan Sherman, Mary Weaver. What's up, Mary? Facebook. So good to see you, man. That's childhood friendship back there. That's awesome. Awesome. So thumbs up to supporting and sharing our experiences while promoting the folks we do business with. I love it. Mark Willie, thanks for joining us. He's on, I can never keep track of that guy, Mark Willie. He's either on Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. He's all over the place. And then Ethan, thanks again. Good information daily. So I'm glad Ethan is tuning in and liking what we have to offer. So Miles, what do you got for us, man? Tell me.
We covered a lot today. I think the biggest thing I would say someone should take away from this conversation is this is a great formula. Successful 7 will make you successful. But I'll again just make sure, I can't stress enough the idea that to be the most successful, you've got to be consistent. We've talked about that on these before. And you need to put the customer first and not be just bragging about yourself on social media. Because if you do all 7 of these things consistently, but you're bragging about yourself consistently, you're not going to be very successful. So it's really about how can you take a back seat while promoting somebody else. And that's the best way to promote yourself. And you don't want to be seen as, you know, in love with yourself so much because that turns people off. So, and then you can save it for when you really need it. When there is a real moment to be say you're proud. But even then, you're proud of what your employees accomplished. You're proud about what the customers have allowed to help you do. Any of those things. It's
Right.
not just, hey, look how great we are. So always take that humble approach to each of these 7 things, and it will be even more successful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that, you know, these successful 7 approaches really come down to just write them down every day of the week or twice a week, whatever it is you want to do, and just pick one. And each day, just do one of them. It takes less than 20 seconds, you know, minute, 5 minutes, even if it took 5-10 minutes. It just helps increase your brand, increase awareness, increase the people that you're working with and talking to, which I think is great. Well, we got some more comments. We got, Mark Willie is on. He said, what about those who subscribe to the rule of contrary public opinion? I'll let you answer that one, Miles.
Well, I'm not so sure. What does he mean by that? Like he wants to say something that's controversial? Is that what you think?
Yeah, Mark, you need to elaborate. We're not that smart. You got to help us out. What about those who subscribe to the rule of contrary public opinion? So, Mark, elaborate on that. We're going to go to Greg Ugaldi. Thought we should be careful not to pounce as soon as somebody contacts us. Nurture a relationship over time. Ease contacting the customer into place. Now, that's some real advice. And Miles, you and I just spoke about this, and we've spoken about it in the past about even on social media. People reach out to us all the time and they want to connect. And then as soon as we connect, they send us their sales pitch and you got to do this, or, you know, and you know what? It's an instant delete for me. It drives me absolutely crazy because they did not take the time to build that relationship, especially online, because it's making it too easy for everybody to do that.
Yeah, completely agree. You get somebody that launches right into it instead of leading with, hey, Dave, I just saw your live stream about the successful 7. I really identified with point number 3 for these reasons. That's it. And of course, you're going to respond and say, oh, wow, so glad you watched. That's great. Thank you, XYZ. And then they might follow up with, you know, I'm wondering in that context, do you need help with X? Or do you know someone that needs help with X because I offer Y? And then it's more of a slow, like Greg is saying, a slow lead in. It's not just a pounce, which is a great visual, I think. You think about, like, I think of a lion pouncing on its prey is very adversarial instead of coming alongside someone to help them on their journey like you should be doing. So, yeah. Yeah,
for sure. No, I 100% agree. Thanks, Greg, for that comment. Really do appreciate it. We have Jennifer on here. Let's see who else we have. I gotta refresh. You know, one of the things that's starting to drive me a little crazy is with maybe it's because so many people are on social media, the screens and everything just don't refresh. So half the time we get off and people ask us are asking us questions and we don't even see them. I think I have you muted. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, I agree. I just hit refresh too to look over on my screen and see who's coming up.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Hey, so Mark Willie also said, Miles, thumbs up on your book and course and your TEDx. Dude, I'm so proud of you. You're doing a TEDx. I'm jealous. I need a TEDx. That sounds like so much fun. And he'll be filling up his calendar all year. And Greg just responded too, saying, hey, great response. And for those of you who don't know Greg is the immediate past chairman for the National Associations of Home Builders. So every time Greg jumps on, it just makes me smile because it means a lot. So thank you for joining us. And I know Miles, Greg probably doesn't know this about you, Miles, but Miles used to be the general manager of one of the largest modular home manufacturers in the country. So outside of you having a real big marketing background, I think people need to know that about you. You may be young, but you've covered a lot of ground. You're on mute.
Yeah, I just unmuted myself. Yeah, thanks. True in line of not bragging, right? That's not something I often lead with. So I'll let you say that for me. But yeah, I've done quite a few things. I've done a bunch of different areas. And I think all that experience just helps me see opportunities through different lenses for the clients that I work with, because I've I've seen a bunch of different things in a bunch of different areas, and I can draw upon those experiences to dial in campaigns. So yeah, it all works.
It does. It does. It does. So, Miles, we got a lot going on, you and I. We were just talking before the show in regards to the amount of work. And when I say work, not paying gigs type of work, but the whole COVID, being home, the social media, the marketing, for some, I think it's become busier and busier because of all the Zoom calls, all the outreach, right? It's different than when going to an office. And, do you think people are ready to get back to their office?
I think it's probably mixed. Some people might miss that social interaction of being in the office, but I'm reading more and more articles that's have data from studies that folks have done about how a lot of Americans really enjoy working from home. Or, if you search term WFH for work from home on LinkedIn, where we are right now on one of the streams, there's a lot of content out there about it where people are realizing that they don't have to go into the office. So now they don't want to go into the office. They like the flexibility of working from home. And then Twitter, I just saw announced that they're going to allow employees to work from home forever. Like they just changed that at Twitter where they let people work from home. So it'll be interesting to see what pans out of this, because we're not out of the woods yet. People are starting to open up, but it's almost June and we're still working from home. So this is going to be an all of 2020 thing. I think the ripple effects of this whole thing, if not beyond. So it'll be interesting. But it's just pointing to technology and the need to be flexible and adaptable and creative. Otherwise, the world will pass you by. You can't just be static.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that 100%. But, I'm such a social guy. There's just something about, being at some of the events or just being able to sit down and relax and have a good face-to-face conversation and, a cold beer on occasion or whatever your drink of choice is. And I think, I think people are, at least for me, as a social extrovert, my extrovert tendencies are to run out of this house as fast as they let me and go have some of my fill and regenerate with being around crowds and people, because I absolutely just love that part of it. So, this has been great, Miles. Why don't we talk about a little bit next week's show? We got a big guest on next week. You want to do the introductions?
Sure. So I believe you lined him up though. Where did you first meet him?
Yeah. Well, Rodney Hall, executive search. Rodney Hall is a big executive search guy that I've known for a couple years now, just through trade organizations, the Housing Innovation Alliance events. And I'm telling you, he's one of these people that has so much great knowledge, from an executive search side of life, which is so important for our conversation about increasing awareness, increasing your branding. How do you stay relevant? Like, how do you stay relevant behind a screen like this, right? How do you stay relevant? How do you climb that corporate ladder? How do you get a new job when we're all sitting at home? And I think having Rodney Hall on to speak about this, I think it's going to be a very powerful thing for us. And I'm really looking forward to asking him all kinds of questions.
Yeah, likewise. In the research I've done on him since you lined him up, it seems like he swims in some big circles with some big fish, right? He networks with some high caliber individuals. And so you got to believe all that rubs off on him, and he's a high caliber himself. So it's gonna be interesting to see from his perspective with the people that he interacts with on a daily basis, just what insights he has to bring to this topic of how people he's worked with have increased their personal brand. When he's doing a search, what stands out to him as something when he's vetting out people for companies, what are the big companies looking for? He's going to be able to offer insights from both sides of those camps, which is going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to the interview.
Yeah, it really is. It's funny. He just shared a recent post with it was his son was graduating school, and it was an interesting thing. And he was telling me, and I'm going to let him share the story Thursday, but the post hit home with so many people. I don't know. It's got to be over 20,000 views since just a few days ago already. And right now with so many people on social media, we were talking about this as well. It's just the views, the likes, the shares, they're not what they used to be because of the volume of people on here now. And I think it's amazing. And I think that the words of wisdom that'll come out of Rodney Hall for the rest of us who's been in this at a very high level for many, many years and is a down-to-earth, really likable person, I think is going to bring a lot of value to our audience. And I think everybody, if you're listening, should tune in for that.
Yeah. And we keep saying it with every episode, right? If people have questions, to send them to us. But so as people hear that intro about Rodney, if you have a burning question or something you're curious to ask somebody like that, make sure you send it to Dave or send it to me, and we can, loop it into the interview next week. I think you're muted, Dave.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I agree. Definitely. If you have questions, please send them to us. Put them in the likes and comments and share buttons there. And as always, I mean, this is a prime example. We were talking about how hard it is to increase influence and build branding, Miles, right? We're doing these shows on a regular basis now. Sometimes you get 100 people, sometimes you get 2 people, sometimes you get 1 person. But it's the replays, it's the likes, it's the shares, it's the comments that come after it. And everybody needs to understand that, because a lot of people get into this game of marketing. I like to call it a game because it kind of is, trying to figure it out constantly. And they think it's all about likes and shares. And it's really not. It's about sharing information. And it's about trying to put relevant conversation out there for people to tune in. And I think that just like we even find out with our own shows, you got to stick with it.
Absolutely. And something like this, the replay, right? No one can see on the replay how many people tuned in live. So they just see the effort that you did and that you're consistently doing it. And that's going to speak to more than the content itself. That speaks to your discipline as an individual. And then that's going to speak to how you'd show up for that organization, whether it's as a guest speaker, an outside coach, maybe a potential employee, any of those things. Do you want the guy that just did one video every 2 months and then stopped, or the person that's showing up every week and giving it their all? So a lot of that, talking about personifying and being a human behind the brand, that effort shows something about you as well. And that leads to the perception of you and then the work that you get somewhere down the line. You have no idea what the total ripple effect is going to be.
Yeah, you don't, but all that content's there. So when somebody searches you out or goes and looks for you or what have you, it's like a big online resume. And that's what people have to really, truly understand. And people buy from people they like, and then they buy their product typically, unless you're Apple. And then that doesn't really work that way. They buy the product. But for the rest of us in this world, people buy from people they like, and increasing your brand, increasing who you are, increasing your awareness and your connections is everything to your career and advancement. And just, it feels good to talk and it feels good to share stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, Miles. Well, there we have it, man. We're in this for 40 minutes. Can you believe another 40 minutes just flew by just like that?
No, it goes by fast.
It does. So listen, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the comments, the likes, the shares. And we appreciate everybody always swinging back in and joining us whenever they can. We're on every Thursday. Next week is a big week with Rodney Hall on. Tomorrow, we got Miles BS Friday. Have you figured out what BS stands for yet, Miles?
Building science.
Man, he gave it away. Yeah, building science. We're talking about building science tomorrow. Not just tomorrow, every Friday with the bearded man. That bearded man keeps popping up in videos and everything else. I'm seeing him around in other locations. So please tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. And it's not this bearded man here. Where you at? Over there. It's this one here. It's a whole different one. This guy looks more like he's out of Duck Dynasty compared to you and I. So,
yeah, you can call it beard science instead of building science.
Oh, he called beard science, right? Well, we're gonna be drinking beer. I'm gonna drink a root beer. It's only 11 a.m. I can't show my kids the wrong way. Not yet. They're too young.
Very true. Very true.
Miles, man, I always appreciate it. Miles, big ideas. I'm Dave Cooper. We want to thank everybody for watching, and stay tuned. We'll see you next Thursday for sure with Rodney Hall. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bye now.